Hi there! We will be discussing about distance between 2 points. Our objective is that you will be able to compute for the distance between 2 points using the distance formula. Pencils, rulers, graphing papers, and scientific calculators will be helpful for you to understand the topic better. Sometimes in our life, we are really interested in determining how far is your house to your school, right? Also, how far is your house to your friend's house, right? And your house to the fire station. So basically, the idea of what we will be talking about today is revolves around distances. And if we will try to put this map into a Cartesian plane wherein your house is 1 point or one ordered pair and the school is another ordered pair, we can easily determine its distance. Are you excited to know that? I'm excited as well. So let's proceed. What is distance between 2 points? It is the length of the line segment joining 2 points. So there are always 2 points involved in our discussion today. These 2 points are usually denoted in coordinate geometry as P sub 1 and P sub 2, wherein your P sub 1 has coordinates x sub 1, y sub 1, and your P sub 2 has coordinates x sub 2, y sub 2. We will encounter three kinds of lines today. We will be having our horizontal line, our vertical line, and our slant line. We are interested in knowing how far are these 2 points together. Okay, let's start with horizontal line and vertical line. If we, in determining the distance between 2 points forming horizontal and vertical line segments, there are two ways how to do it. The first one is to just simply count the units. So if we have point A located at negative 3, 2 and point B located at 3, 2, we have here a horizontal line. Therefore, the distance between them can be easily counted, just like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's it. The distance between A and B is what? 6 units. Usually, distance is denoted by small letter d. So in this case, a d is 6 units. So if unit measure is indicated, you should indicate it, like if it's meter, centimeter, so you need to write it. But if it's not, we can use the word units. Same principle is applied when we have a vertical line. So if it's a vertical line, we can also count the number of units away point C is to point D. So let's do it together. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the answer is 7 units. That's easy, right? So if you will encounter letter D, small letter D, all throughout our discussion, that indicates distance. So basically, it's easy. You can just simply count. But what if the line is too long? That is where we will use the second approach, wherein if the line is too long, we can add the absolute value of the distinct coordinates of the 2 points. So as you can see in our first ordered pair of points A and B, the one with the arrow are the distinct points, meaning they are the one different between them. Here, the y coordinate 2 and 2 are the same. So these are the values that we will add. But first, we need to get their absolute value. So we can have this. So the distance between A and B is the sum, or if we add the absolute value. So what's the absolute value of the first one? So let's just put it this way first. So the absolute value of negative 3 plus the absolute value of 3, right? So that's D is equal to, what's the absolute value of 3? It's positive 3 plus the absolute value of 3, that's 3. So distance is equal to 6 units. And it's the same with the one that we solved earlier by counting, right? There we go. Okay, let's have the second one. Here, the distinct coordinates are 3 and negative 4, right? So we will have distance is equal to absolute value of 3 plus the absolute value of negative 4. So that's 3, and the absolute value of negative 4 is 4. So 3 plus 4 is 7 units. Can you follow? And it's the same with the one that we solved earlier. So whether you do counting or you add the absolute value of the distinct coordinates, you will arrive at the same answer. Okay? So that's easy if the given line is horizontal or vertical. But now, we will go to the third kind of line. There are certain instances wherein the line is not horizontal or vertical. They are in slant line form. So if it's in slant line, counting the number of units between them is not advisable. That is why, if the scenario goes to be like this, we will be using a particular formula, and that is a distance formula. So what is distance formula? It is a formula used in determining the distance between 2 points in Cartesian plane. Well, even if it's horizontal or vertical, we can still use distance formula. But the one I taught you earlier is easier. So here, we need to consider which ordered pair is our first and which is our second. Regardless which is your first and your second, you will still arrive at the same distance because you are computing for the length of one line segment. But you need to be careful that in substituting the values of the coordinates in the formula. And our formula is this. Distance is equal to the square root of the square of the difference between x sub 2 and x sub 1 plus the square of the difference between y sub 2 and y sub 1. Wherein your d is your distance, your p sub 1 is the coordinate of your first point, and your p sub 2 is the coordinate of your second point. Let's try to solve a particular problem. Example number 1. Determine the distance between point negative 3, 4, letter E, and point F with coordinates negative 1 and negative 3. Like what I've said earlier, you need to determine or you need to classify for yourself which is your first coordinate and second coordinate. So in our case, I want this to be the first and this is our second. So if you choose E as your second, you will still arrive at the same distance. So if that's the case, my x sub 1 will be this. I don't have subscript in my typing as the moment, so please bear with me with x1. This is y1. So we will have this as our y2, and then this is our y1. So now you have your, that's x2. So since you have your x1, y1, x2, y2, we can now directly substitute it in our formula. But before that, you need to always illustrate so that in illustrating, you can easily identify your scenario. So let's first locate negative 3 and 4 here. That's my point E, right? And label the points. E is negative 3, 4. And point F is negative 1 and negative 3 somewhere here. Oops, it got bigger. There we go. Negative 1, negative 3. That's my F. Okay, this is my F. Negative 1, negative 3. Okay, and I'm interested in getting their distance. There you go. Okie dokie. There you have it. So we can now substitute to our formula. So our x sub 2 is a negative 1, right? So we have here negative 1. Okay, if you are inputting negative, make it sure that you have a grouping symbol so that you won't get confused. So our x sub 1 is negative 3. Can you follow? There we go. Our y sub 2 is also negative 3. And our y sub 1 is positive 4. So let's simplify those. So negative 1 minus negative 3. So negative and negative, that will be positive. So we have negative 1 plus 3 So negative 1 plus 3. So that would give us positive 2. Right? Positive 2. So let me just type it here so that you have seen it. Negative 1 plus 3. That's how it will be. And then here, negative 3 minus 4, that's a negative 7. Okay. So, we square that. So, 2 square, so that's basically 4. And negative 7 square, that's 49. Right? So, if you add them together, so 4 and 49, so that's 53. So, square root of 53. Right? So, what is square root of 53? So that's 7.28 units. There you go. So for us to have uniform answers, we need to round off our final answer into 2 decimal places. Let's have another example. So given a line with coordinates g, 3, 4, and h, 0, negative 2, find its distance. So this time, I will be considering this as my first point, first coordinate, and this is my second coordinate. Again, whichever you choose first or second, you will still arrive at the same answer as long as you substitute properly. So if that's the case, this will be my x1, and this is my y1, right? And this will be my x2 and my y2. So after you label, which is your x1, y1, you can now what? You can now illustrate it. So let's locate our g. That's 3, 4, somewhere here. So that's my first point. My second point is located where? 0, negative 2, somewhere here. So this is h. 0, negative 2. There we go. So I'm interested in determining their distance. Right? So once you're done illustrating and labeling, we can now substitute. Okay? What's my x sub 2? My x sub 2 is 3. My x sub 1 is 0. Right? Okay. My y sub 2 is 4. My y sub 1 is negative 2. So again, I'm trying to input negative number. So please make it sure you used grouping symbol to indicate, to specify the negative. So 3 minus 0, that's basically 3. There. While 4, then this will be negative, negative, so that's positive. So basically, it will be 4, it will become 4 plus 2, right? And that's 6. So we can now simplify that. 3 square is 9, while 6 square is what? It's 36. So 9 plus 36 is what? 9 plus 36 is 45. So basically, we have square root of 45. If we are to simplify the radical form, it will be 3 square root of 5, or approximately 6.71. There you go. So 6.71 units. Right? So that's it. That's how easy it is for you to determine the distance between 2 points in slant line. So again, here's are my tips. Please use grouping symbols properly. It will help you. Regardless which you choose your first point and your second point, you will still arrive at the same distance. Express your answer also in decimal form, in 2 decimal places, rounded off. And then don't forget to use the units. The word units, if not specified, the unit of measurement. But if it's given, please use it. It's your turn. You can now pause the video and have your own work. Pause it now. Thank you. So if your answer is 7.81 units, congratulations. You got it right. So I'm excited to learn with you more in the coming days. So as a summary, if you are given with horizontal or vertical lines, you can count the number of units or add the absolute value of the distinct coordinates of the 2 points. And if the given is in slant line, we can use the distance formula. That's why we need to know how to illustrate it so that you can know whether it's horizontal or vertical or slant line. And thank you. That will be all for today. I appreciate your time joining me. See you next time for us to have next and more lively discussion. Please study ahead the topic slope of a line. Bye-bye.